Sup lads, it's your boy Bandana-Boi, and England versus Mexico delivers in one of the best World Cup games I have ever seen in my life. I haven't watched every single World Cup in existence, but from all the games I have watched, this is easily in my top three, alongside with Argentina versus France in the 2022 World Cup final. It was an absolute blast, especially the first 70 minutes. In the last 20 minutes, the play slowed down a bit. England took a back seat, and they basically parked the bus because they were one man down, so it was completely understandable. But those first 70 minutes, I wanted the game to go into overtime just so I could see more of the play. Because everything about this game, the stadium, the aura, the players, the teams, the crowd, all of it was just top notch. I don't even know where to start. From the get go, Mexico were looking like they were more accustomed to the environment. There were some great chances by Raul Jimenez. He was diving to the ground, getting a header, really challenging Pickford in the early minutes. The Mexicans were playing a bit aggressive, but they were still playing a pretty good style of ball. And Anthony Gordon for England is such a great player. Even though in this game, he actually did win a penalty, but aside from that, he didn't get a goal or an assist. He played really, really well. And even for the game against DR Congo, when he was subbed on, he is the one who assisted both Harry Kane's goals. I know maybe the second goal wasn't that great of an assist because it was basically Harry Kane creating magic. He was moving different, and he's extremely fast. Barcelona bought him in the summer, and he is a really good signing for them. I don't know what's up with them and these British wingers. It was first Rashford, now it's Anthony Gordon. I don't know if they still have Rashford, but in my opinion, Anthony Gordon is a very big upgrade, and he is a great player. And Barca are pretty lucky to have him. And I want to talk a bit about the stadium, Estadio Azteca. This stadium is over 7,200 feet high in altitude, above sea level, which is like 2,200 meters. And goodness gracious, is it probably hard to breathe up there. And aside from the height, Mexico have such a good track record in this stadium. They have 99 senior matches, and they only ever lost two in their history. Their last loss was actually in 2013. It was a World Cup qualifier against Honduras, and they actually ended up losing 2-0. And that was a very big upset, even at the time. So, heading into this game, all odds were against England. There were even some fans shooting some lasers or fireworks outside of the English players' hotels, which isn't the nicest move, but even with that being said, the English were still able to get away with the win. Let's get to the goals though. Rice does a great job to drive from his own side to the opposition's third, and then he passes it to Saka on the right wing, and Saka crosses it in, and Bellingham with a great tap in, with a great goal, and he puts England 1-0 up. But that wasn't the craziest part. The game had chances all around. Within 30 seconds, within a minute of Bellingham scoring the first goal, he scored another goal. The Mexicans were taking it a bit too easy. The English put pressure, they took the ball, and within 30 seconds, their entire team was running full sprint, running forward, and they were able to score so fast, so clinical. Harry Kane was even able to give a great pass to Bellingham as he's falling down. I don't know what's up with Harry Kane and falling down, but it was first the DR Congo goal, the second goal, where as he's falling down, he shoots it and scores the top bins. And now, with the assist, as he's falling down yet again, he passes it to Bellingham, who shoots it and scores. So if you ever see Harry Kane falling, just know he's most likely about to produce some magic. Mexico have free kick and it rebounds, and Julian Quinones, if I'm not mistaken, he shoots and he scores a volley which was beautiful. Even though it was kinda just outside the 6 yard box, so it was relatively close. Still, the positioning with the amount of players in front of him, he did well to shoot it into the ceiling of the net and get Mexico back in the game. Keep in mind that these three goals that I've talked about so far all happened within a span of like 7 minutes at the end of the first half. So heading into halftime, it was 2-1, and wow, it was such a fun game up until that point. Even the first 25 minutes into the second half, they were again really, really fun. Those 50 minutes, they didn't look like they were a break. Both teams came out guns blazing and so many chances. Pickford with some amazing saves. Mexico, Raul Jimenez unfortunately missed so many chances, or he didn't even miss them. He just shot them, and Pickford was there. There's nothing you can do. Bellingham had a goal line clearance, and early into the second half, Kwanzaa gets a red card deservedly so. He went for a challenge and his studs were up. I talk about, but with these challenges, it's not about if you did any damage, but it's about the safety of the players. Where if you don't punish a player for having their studs out, they're going to keep doing it, and eventually they could make a career ending tackle, which is something we never want to see. So we got the deserving red card, and at that point, England looked like they were stressed. But within a couple of minutes, they got a penalty, and Harry Kane, as calm as you like, scores it. And at that point, they're 3-1 up, and the only thing in their mind is, oh, it is time for us to park the bus. However, a couple of minutes later, Mexico get a penalty of their own, and that was again just insane. The drama in this game, the atmosphere, and even the crowd. Mexico convert the penalty, and the crowd goes wild. At that point, Mexico still had 20 to 25 minutes to try and get back in the game. They just needed one goal, and England were one man down. So it didn't look like too tough of a feat, but England parked the bus and they didn't let Mexico break through. But this game truly had everything. It was entertaining from start. I don't want to say it's finished, but up until the first 70 minutes. In fact, even in the last 20 minutes, the play slowed down just in comparison to the rest of the game. But there were still many chances created, many opportunities taken, and it was still a pretty fun game. It just died down in comparison to the first, let's say 3 quarters of the game. The crowd is insane. I am watching this through a TV, and for me to be able to hear the crowd as they're cheering, of course, you can hear the crowd to a certain degree whenever you're watching it over TV, but no, I was hearing them as if I was in the stadium. It was scary. Those English players must have felt a little intimidated, if not extremely intimidated, because wow, everything that has to do with the stadium, the crowd, the fans, it truly delivered. The atmosphere was phenomenal and it felt like a World Cup elimination game. Even though it was in the round of 16, it felt like it was almost a semi final or a final. With that being said, congratulations to England. They now advance to the quarterfinals and they face off against Norway. That is gonna be such a good game, and I will absolutely be tuning in for it. And tough luck for Mexico. They had a great run this tournament, and they are now the second team from the host countries to get knocked out after Canada. Tough luck. The fans were electric, the play was amazing, and yet again, after finishing this game, I truly felt bad for whatever team was gonna lose because after seeing the play, I was like, wow, both these teams deserve to still be in, but unfortunately, this is how the game goes, and one team does come out on top. Tell me what y'all thought about the game. This was truly in my top 3 favorite games. There have been some bangers recently with Cape Verde, Argentina, and now Mexico, England, and I'm extremely excited to see what the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals have in store to offer. With that being said, lads, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all.